Level 1, the side hustler. You're 19, net worth $0, revenue $0. The only number that matters tonight is negative $47 on your debit card after you bought a domain name you haven't earned back yet. The laptop is a used ThinkPad you paid $380 for in a parking lot exchange. The fan sounds like it's trying to leave the chassis. Your desk is a folding table between a mini fridge and a laundry basket in a dorm room that smells like someone else's cooking and your own instant ramen. In 22 years, you'll sell the company you haven't incorporated yet for $50 million. You don't know that yet. Right now, you know how to copy code from a tutorial and not always understand why it works. You file an LLC online for $200 using paycheck money from a campus bookstore job. You build a landing page in 4 days. The contact form is broken for the first 2 because you connected the wrong endpoint. You fix it on a Wednesday night while your roommate is at a party you were invited to and chose not to attend. The first Stripe notification arrives at 2:14 a.m., $15, 1 subscriber. Your bank account does not change in any meaningful way. Something inside you does. Net worth still $0 on paper, not 0 on the inside anymore. Every mistake costs hours you don't have. Every mistake teaches something no tutorial fully covers. This is how the ladder starts, not in a venture office, in a cramped room with a loud machine and a stubbornness that refuses to accept not knowing. Level 2, the bootstrapper, 21, revenue, $240 a month, net worth, $2,800, mostly because you haven't spent what you made. The dorm is behind you. You rent a 1-bedroom for $790 a month where the shower takes 4 minutes to warm. 41 paying users, not a business, a proof. You attend a startup meetup in a co-working space that smells like espresso and anxiety. You pitch for 90 seconds. A man who sold 2 companies asks who this is for, specifically, and why they'd pay monthly instead of once. You stumble. He waits. You go home and delete half your feature list. You earn $380 profit in month 11. Your laptop hinge is cracked. A new one costs $940. You transfer the $380 into server costs instead. Net worth $4,100 by year end. Slower than your college friend Marcus, who took a $94,000 salary job and posted his sedan lease like a finish line. You are not at a finish line. You are at month 11 of a proof that still feels theoretical. Restraint is harder than excess. You learn that here. Level 3, the operator, 24, revenue, $4,100 a month, net worth, $86,000, mostly reinvested into the product, not visible anywhere on your body or in your apartment. You quit your part-time job when recurring revenue hit $4,800 and your manager scheduled a meeting about your engagement scores. You hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines for $850 a month before you can consistently pay yourself. The first time you send that payment, your stomach tightens. You're paying someone before you can pay yourself with confidence. Then building turns out to be half the job. A user cancels and writes, "Too complicated." You spend 3 days on session recordings. You find the settings page where they got lost, a page you added because more options felt like more value. You remove it. Retention improves. Diagnosing why someone left is a different skill from building what they stayed for. Marcus got promoted. He upgraded to a 2-bedroom with a gym in the building. His raise expanded into a life that received it. Your revenue went somewhere else. 58% reinvested into ads, infrastructure, and a second developer. You pay yourself $41,000 a year. You drive a 2014 Toyota Corolla with a windshield crack you've meant to fix since March. From the outside, he's winning. From your spreadsheet, you're growing 11% month over month, and your checking account makes you nervous on the 28th. The gap isn't loud yet, but it's real, and it widens every quarter automatically. Level 4, the builder, 27, revenue $31,000 a month, net worth $420,000, still invisible to everyone at the birthday dinner. You've been at this 5 years. A side feature you built for one client segment does $2,400 a month. You kill it anyway because it pulls focus from the core product. 3 angry emails arrive. You read each one. You don't undo the decision. Churn on the main line drops. Revenue dips for 6 weeks, then climbs past where it was. This is the lonely middle, not a montage, not a turning point. Years of correct invisible decisions stacking quietly while the world rewards the people making visible ones. Your friends talk about interest rates on condos in neighborhoods with farmers markets. You brought a $35 bottle of wine to the dinner and meant it when you smiled. Their mortgage payment is roughly what your business clears in profit every 5 weeks. You nod along. You become very good at nodding. You reinvest $94,000 that year into infrastructure you cannot show anyone at a party. Net worth crosses $400,000 on a night you fall asleep watching a deployment log. Nobody claps, nobody sees. The number exists in a cell. Building was the first skill, diagnosing was the second. Managing the temptation to look successful before you are stable is the third. Level 5, the known name. 30, revenue, $94,000 a month. Net worth, $1.8 million. People in your industry know the product name now. They don't know your face. That's fine. You prefer it. An acquisition offer arrives, $1.4 million. You sit at the same kitchen table where you eat the same rotation of dinners and say no. Your co-founder thinks you're insane. You think you're early. The product isn't finished becoming what it needs to become. You trust that feeling more than the number. You stop writing production code. You haven't touched the code base in 3 weeks. You're in meetings about hiring, positioning, and a pricing change that will add $18,000 a month or lose $9,000. You miss the code. You don't go back. The company needs a different version of you now. Net worth doubles in 14 months. Your car does not change. Your apartment does not change. The world does not announce you. Level 6, the CEO. 33, revenue, $155,000 a month. Net worth, $4.6 million. 22 employees. You fire a co-founder who stopped carrying weight 18 months before you admitted it. The conversation takes 41 minutes. The company loses a friendship and keeps its spine. Revenue dips for 1 quarter. Morale stabilizes. Growth resumes. You're no longer the person who fixes the broken endpoint at 2 a.m. You're the person who decides whether to fix it or hire someone who will. The distance between those two people is larger than any revenue chart shows. Your mother asks if you're doing okay. You say yes, you mean it. You leave out the part where okay includes deciding a $240,000 marketing experiment over eggs on a Tuesday. Level 7, the empire builder. 37, revenue, $5.1 million a year. Net worth, $12 million. You buy a smaller competitor for $2.1 million. A scheduling tool bleeding users because the founder burned out. You don't rebrand it dramatically. You read cancellation reasons until your eyes hurt. You remove clever features. You fix one friction point. Churn drops. The climb is boring on a chart and meaningful in a bank account. You own the core platform, the acquired tool, and a holding structure that exists mostly as a filing cabinet for decisions. 3 revenue lines. 1 face the public never sees. Net worth crosses $10 million on a night you're assembling furniture from a flat pack box and missing a screw. You tighten the bolt and go to bed. No toast, no post, no announcement. Level 8. The exit. 41. Net worth on paper, about to become $50 million. The acquisition offer is $50 million. You negotiate for 5 months, not because you're playing games, because terms matter more than headlines. The wire clears at 2:51 p.m. on a Thursday. You finish a glass of water, you rinse it, you put it in the dishwasher. You expected something, not confetti, some signal that the distance from $47 domain registration to this number was real in a way the world would quietly acknowledge. The world does not acknowledge it. There is the kitchen, the afternoon light through a window you've looked through 1,000 times, the same table where you said no to $1.4 million and yes to $50 million. The room is identical. The math is not. You don't post online. You don't upgrade the car. When your mother calls that evening, you tell her you had a good day at work. You don't tell her the number. Some rooms inside your life nobody gets to walk into. Level 9. The legacy. 45. Net worth. $50 million, most of it deployed into boring assets, and 3 startups run by first-time founders who remind you of a folding table and a loud fan. You angel invest in companies you would have needed at 19. You take 1 meeting a week. You say no to 90% of pitches. You say yes when the founder sounds like you before you knew what an error log was. You speak at a university entrepreneurship event. A student asks when you knew you were ready to quit your job. You tell him you weren't ready. You just ran out of excuses for not doing it. The audience laughs. You meant it literally. Somewhere right now, a 19-year-old is registering a domain for $47 on a laptop with a sticky keyboard. Net worth $0. Revenue $0. They don't know that in 22 years they could sell for $50 million. They don't know what an error log is yet. They're going to connect the wrong endpoint and not understand why the form doesn't work. They're going to fix it on a night when everyone else is somewhere else. Most won't make it, some will, not because they're smarter, because they learn what you learned, that the ladder isn't visible from the outside, that the lonely middle is where most people stop, and that $0 to $50 million is not a montage. It's Tuesdays. The knowing doesn't make Thursday easier, but it does make you wonder who else is at level 1 right now, staring at a negative balance, building something the world can't see yet.